One of the words that you're going to run into really frequently in Greek are prepositions. Prepositions are very small words. In English we have prepositions like in, out of, from, away from, into, and so on. And in Greek, they're always going to be generally small words. One thing you want to keep in mind with prepositions is that the case that follows the preposition, so you're going to have your Greek preposition, and then it's going to have a noun follow it, right? In the house. House is going to be in a particular case. Right? We have to have a case which is going to show us its function. And the case in Greek is going to show us largely the function. We almost don't need the preposition. So let's start out with the general case use. The genitive, when it follows a preposition, is generally going to show place from which. So we could go out of the house. House, the house, would be genitive because we're showing place from which, out of something. The dative is going to show place where, that is, a location. So if we're in the house there is our object of the preposition. That's a good term to know. Object of the preposition is, we have the preposition and we have its object, the house. The house here is going to be dative because it's showing us location. It's showing us place where. So in other words, we almost don't need that Greek word for in, because since house is dative, that shows us location. And finally, we have accusative, which shows us place to which, to the house. It's our destination. House is going to be accusative. It's going to show us there's a movement towards that house. So once you know these three main uses, the prepositions really just add more flavor. Some are going to be a little bit, as you get further in Greek, there are going to be prepositions which are a little more complicated. But if you keep in mind these three case uses with prepositions, you'll be in a good place. So what are the Greek prepositions that you're going to run into, particularly in Chapter 3, but moving on? So the first three you encounter. The first is going to be ek, or x. X after aspirated, or before aspirated vowels. So ek or x, out of. And since this is place from which, you're going to have ek or x plus the genitive. These are both mean the same thing. There's just a matter of pronunciation. So the genitive showing place from which, so out of the house, ek oikias. N is in, and it's showing location. And since it's showing location, it's going to be followed by the dative case. And finally, in Chapter 3, you encounter ace, into. And since this is showing motion towards something, it's going to be followed by the accusative. So there's your introduction to Greek prepositions.